What is going on, guys? It's the Inside the Loop podcast, and today we have our Stanley Cup predictions. Today, the New York Rangers, of course, are in the playoffs. We all know that. I only cover the New York Rangers, but I wanted to get my thoughts out there and tell you guys who I think is going to make it to the Eastern Conference Final. Win the first round, second round, and who's going to win the Stanley Cup. That is my prediction. I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys enjoyed the NFL one where I had the Rams winning it all. It was a very bold pick. You may see a very bold pick here. But kind of to break down this playoffs, it's very interesting. I think every series can be a very entertaining series. Of course, we have Dallas taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights coming off a Stanley Cup victory, trying to make it two in a row. That's going to be a great series. I think Dallas against Vegas, you could argue that could be a Western Conference final, but you get that in the first round, so that's going to be a great series. You look at Winnipeg against Colorado. Colorado, of course, lost last year, could not repeat as champions. Vegas took over, but Connor Hellebuyck has been having a great year for the Winnipeg Jets, so we'll see how he fares against a high-powered offense with the Colorado Avalanche. Of course, we got the Vancouver Canucks in this series, taking on the Nashville Predators. Of course, Barry Trotz taking over as GM. They make the playoffs. First season under Andrew Brunette, they get it. Only going over the West right now. And then, of course, the Connor McDavid show against the LA Kings. I feel like these two teams have matched up so many times in the playoffs. Of course, we all know how good Connor McDavid is and how good that LA Kings team is. I really think that series is going to come down to goaltending. But now we get into the East. I think the East, so many good series. I mean, every single series I think is just so good. I mean, we got the Battle of Florida. Florida Panthers, a high-powered team. Of course, made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final, but got defeated by the Vegas Golden Knights. Tampa Bay, of course, a sneaky team. Andre Vasilevsky is still their goalie, so it's really hard to beat them out. And they're just a very good up and down the lineup team. Of course, we got the Boston Bruins taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. One of the biggest series I think that I'm looking forward to. Of course, these two teams have so much history. No Patrice Bergeron, no David Krejci, but of course that dynamic duo for Boston with Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. We'll see how they kind of switch up. Whether Ullmark gets game one or Swayman. I'm pretty sure Ullmark is getting game one, but how they'll do that rotation. Of course, Brad Marchand, first season under captain. No difference. Boston's back in the playoffs. New York Rangers now. My New York Rangers taking on the Washington Capitals. Capitals having the worst goal differential since 1991, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, they're minus 41. So, for any new hockey fans out there, basically, they have allowed 41 more goals than they have scored. But that's going to be a good series. Of course, the Rangers, the President's Trophy winners, top team in the entire league. First season under Peter Laviolette. Peter Laviolette taking on his former team. Of course, the Capitals moved on from them. Artemi Panarin having a great season. Alexander Ovechkin gets his team back in the playoffs. And, of course, Charlie Lindgren taking on his brother Ryan Lindgren. So we'll see who wins that series. And then the final series is the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New York Islanders. Of course, the New York Islanders lost to the Carolina Hurricanes in last year's playoffs at home. Could not get it done, I believe. I can't remember who scored the overtime winner, but Islanders lost an overtime winner. But anyways, let's get into these playoff picks. We will start off with the West, and I think the West is kind of hard to predict, just like the East. It's really hard to predict in these series. I do really like this Dallas team this year, but it's interesting, man. I think this Vegas team is built so well up and down the lineup. Of course, it's going to go, I really think it's going to go a far series. I think this game could this series can go at least 6 or 7. But as of right now, in my heart, I'm going to be taking the Vegas Golden Knights for now over the Dallas Stars. I think Vegas is so powerful. and they're such a high-powered team, and that's kind of why I have them winning this series. I could very well change that in the middle of this video, but anyways, that's my pick for now. Heading over to the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Colorado Avalanche. As good as Connor Hellebuyck is, I cannot doubt Nathan MacKinnon. So we will be taking the Colorado Avalanche for that series, and I'm not kidding. Vegas against the Dallas Stars is like a Western Conference final in this series, and then Vegas has to go and take on Colorado. But yeah, next series up. This series I think is very interesting. With Vancouver and the Nashville Predators. I think Nashville's a sneaky team. I really do. But I do really like the Canucks here in this spot. So I will be taking the Canucks in this series. And for our final series, pretty easy choice in my opinion. I can't doubt Connor McDavid, man. I think what they've been able to do after the firing of Jay Woodcroft, it's been pretty special. So that's kind of how I have this. Now, in terms of series, I do have the Vegas Golden Knights winning in 7. I have the Colorado Avalanche winning in 6. I have the Vancouver Canucks taking the Predators down in 6. And I also have the Edmonton Oilers winning in 6. So that's for this for now. This is how our West is looking. Now let's get into the East. Of course, really solid teams. So it's so hard to pick, in my opinion, these squads. But this year, I think it's really been Florida, man. I think Florida has been the better Florida team here. And I think they've been very coached well. I think Tampa is such a good opponent for them, in the first round. And it's going to give Florida some problems, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Tampa Bay. So I think the Florida Panthers are going to win this series. Now the Boston Bruins taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, Boston Bruins have gotten the better half of the of the Toronto Maple Leafs, sorry. So I think that's kind of why I'm going to be taking Boston here. Now, New York Rangers taking on the Washington Capitals. Pretty easy choice here in my opinion, and I'm not trying to be biased, but I think just in terms of how good the Rangers have played this season, it's hard to pick against them. Washington's a team that they can allow goals in bunches, or they can keep the Rangers close, and I think that's what's going to come down to it. And also, the Rangers definitely have the goalie, and I think the overall team over the Washington Capitals. I think it has to be an absolute miracle for the Washington Capitals to defeat the New York Rangers in round 1. Now getting to our next series. I really do think this is probably going to be a closer series than people think. I think with, once again, a solid goaltending rotation with Semyon Varlamov and Ilya Sorokin, they can really make this series close. Now, Carolina is a great team. They're a powerhouse. If I'm not mistaken, the last three seasons they've had 50-plus win seasons. Carolina hasn't really been able to get to the Stanley Cup, but they've had solid playoff runs. They've ran into really solid teams like the Florida Panthers last year, Rangers the year before. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody would love a Battle of New York round 2. I think that Stadium Series really showed something. I think it really did show something of that these two teams can battle it out and have a solid playoff series, and I think that's what the people want, and that's what I'm going to give them. I'm going to have the New York Islanders take down the Carolina Panthers. Not the Carolina Panthers. New York Islanders taking down the Carolina Hurricanes. I got this game going to 7. I got the Boston Bruins going into 7. I got the Rangers in 5. I don't think it's gonna be really too hard for them. I think maybe the Capitals take one game. And then I have the New York Islanders winning in 7. So that's our first round. Take a look at it real quick. We got Vegas going against Colorado. We got Edmonton going against Vancouver. We got the Boston Bruins taking on the Florida Panthers. And then we got the Battle of New York, the New York Islanders taking on the New York Rangers. I think all 4 of these series look amazing. I really do. But yeah, let's get right into this. I think with our first series, we're going to start off in the West again with the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And I think this is, again, another gauntlet for the Vegas Golden Knights. They just got done with a 7-game series with the Dallas Stars, and now they have to go with another series against Nathan MacKinnon and the Vegas Golden Knights. But I think one of the things that I see here in this series is how well does Alexander Georgiev play. I think goaltending is so important, and if your goaltender can get hot, it could really take you a long way. I mean, Adin Hill got hot for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he just went on a roll, got them to the playoffs. Of course, went far in the playoffs, and then he won them the Stanley Cup. So I think that's going to take into heavy measures. I think this is another series that does go 7, and I think, in my opinion, no matter how good and how built the Vegas Golden Knights are, I don't know if I could doubt Nathan MacKinnon here. But I think if I had to choose right now of today, of course, playoffs start tomorrow. The day I'm recording this is the day before for Game 1. I'm recording this on a Friday. I think I'm going to be taking the Vegas Golden Knights. So Vegas Golden Knights head back to the conference final. Sorry, I'm getting tweets right now from people, but Vegas Golden Knights heading back to the conference final. And now for the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Edmonton Oilers. 2 very solid teams, in my opinion. 2 very offensive teams. 2 teams that have pretty decent defense, in my opinion. Of course, one has Connor McDavid, one has Quinn Hughes, one has Elias Pettersson, one has Leon Draisaitl. So I think this is can be a very solid series. And I'm going to be taking the Edmonton Oilers over the Canucks for a rematch. We have a rematch here of the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And now we get to the East. The Battle of the East. 4 absolute dogs gonna go at it. We have the Florida Panthers taking on the Boston Bruins. The Florida Panthers, the team that took out the Boston Bruins in that amazing season that Boston was having. They won the President's Trophy. They did all these amazing things. And then the Boston Bruins collapsed, unfortunately, in their President's Trophy curse. And I believe that's going to happen again. I think the Florida Panthers are an absolute wagon. And I got them defeating the Boston Bruins. Now for the New York Islanders taking on the New York Rangers. Of course, a battle of a series here with the Carolina Panthers and the New York Islanders. Islanders a little beat up, Rangers a little beat up. Of course, this could be an amazing series. Battle of New York. You know how much this rivalry means to both of these fan bases. And I think it's going to be a battle. I think this is a series that can go 6 or 7 games. I think if you can get matchups with Sorokin against Igor, it can be games that go into overtime, maybe even multiple overtimes. But I do think the Rangers have a little bit more talent, and I think that talent and being able to capitalize on the power play is huge. And I think with a series like this, that probably could have a lot of power plays, and the Rangers are very reliant on the power play. I do have the New York Rangers defeating the New York Islanders in that series. Now we get into this series. Vegas taking on the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to flip it over. We're going to start with the East. We're going to start with the East, talking about the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. These two teams had some dog fights in the regular season. Rangers winning games, Florida winning their games. And I got to go with the New York Rangers. I think this team, and I think if Igor Shesterkin can play amazing against the Capitals, can play amazing against New York Islanders, I mean, he's going to have all the confidence in the world. And you probably have the best goalie remaining around these other 3 teams. So I do have the New York Rangers heading into the Stanley Cup final. And now we get to the exciting one. Connor McDavid against Vegas Golden Knights. Jonathan Marchessault have an amazing season. Mark Stone. They acquired Tomas Hertl in the trade deadline. Vegas got all these pieces. They have Jack Eichel. So many pieces. Bruce Cassidy trying to get them back to the Stanley Cup. Not so fast. I got the Edmonton Oilers defeating the Vegas Golden Knights. And now we head for our Stanley Cup final. Connor McDavid taking on the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers, 1994 was the last time they won a Stanley Cup. They've won multiple Stanley Cups in their time, 4 to be exact. And this year, we're making it 5. The New York Rangers this year, I believe, can win it all. And for the amount of goals that are going to be scored, I think if this game goes 6 or 7, assuming there's probably a lot of goals, I'm going to go pretty high, right? I think if this game goes to 7 and you get at least 4 goals a game, I'm going to go with 35 goals. 35 goals. That is going to do it for this video as I submit the final bracket. As we have an error. Oh no. Hold up. We have an error. What did we not do? Well, anyways, that's going to do it for our video. I got to fix whatever this is, this issue. But anyways, that is going to do it. I guess I'm just going to have to save bracket, whatever it is. But yeah, the New York Rangers, of course, take him down. And yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. And of course, anyways, guys, New York Rangers, Stanley Cup champions over the Edmonton Oilers. That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Fiend.